Hi everyone, welcome back to the 100% Lies of P walkthrough. In this session we're going to be making our way through Venigni works, so let's get started. First we're going to go up this way, and into this room on the left. If you roll through these crates you'll see that you can drop down here. And there's a couple of puppets in here. These things like to lunge forward. Let's see if I can get them to do it. But usually what they do is lunge forward, so you can kind of just back away. There we go. And then you can hit them with the charge attack again. And in here there's a little treasure. And for you advanced players that are using advanced, the salamander dagger is like the electric coil stick, but it's fire-based. So that'll be your weapon that you're going to use when you're attacking enemies that are weak to fire, like monsters. It's got a similar Fable art that lets you spend 2 Fable slots to make the weapon generate fire more quickly. So you'll likely be leveling up both that salamander dagger as well as the electric coil stick if you're doing an advanced playthrough.
This place gives me the creeps. It's like something's gonna jump out any second. It's okay, pal.
So you can see there's a guy that's wanting to throw things at us. If you look right there. So we can get him to throw. And there's a trap there where you could fall through. Which is what the game wants to have happen, but we're too smart for that. By staying up top, we can clear some of the enemies up here. So what I like to do is come over here. And we can get this guy. And then there's a puppet. We can hit him with a charged heavy. Back away, hit him again. And then if you look, there's a lot of enemies down here. But you can get a plunge attack on this guy as he comes back. And then we want to kind of take care of this guy who's just getting up. You can see this will be kind of rough because you got several enemies at once. But now we're okay. And again, this guy likes to lunge, so you just let him do that, back up. It's the safest way to not take damage. And now we can open this chest. And we get a shock cartridge, which we can equip. You can see it's a little heavier, it gives us a little more physical damage reduction, and a nice increase to shock resistance. Kind of letting you see the posters on the walls. Get this loot here. And again, I'll just put stuff to read up on the screen briefly, just long enough so you can pause the video if you want to watch it or read it. Alright, we'll snag this over here. Now there's a big annoying enemy in this box. But they're gonna fall through. And you can see. And these guys are super annoying because their whole front is protected by their shield arms. But they are puppets, so of course they're weak to electricity, and we get to sit up on this ledge and throw things with impunity. So what we're actually gonna do is just actually soften him up so that we can then drop, let him come at us a little, and then we'll hit him with our Fable art. And then we can, he's probably very close to being staggered. That's what happens if he hits you from the front. you can see he's just really annoying. You can kind of tap the shield to get a response out of him. And after he does that, he's vulnerable to an attack. See, they just are really, really annoying to deal with. And with him dead, we get a Legion Caliber. Now, a Legion Caliber is basically something you can use to upgrade your Legion arm to give it more abilities. For example, if we spend this Legion Caliber to upgrade the puppet string, we'll be able to pull ourselves to an enemy by holding down L2 for longer. So that gives us a way to have more options with how we move. And every Legion arm is like that. You can upgrade them 3 times, and each time you upgrade, it adds an ability. And here we have another butterfly. This is going to drop a motivity crank. Now, if you recall, I talked about cranks briefly, but what you can do is take them to Eugenie and improve the scaling of your weapon. So if you want to raise the motivity scaling by 1 grade, then you would use a motivity crank. So in our case, we're looking for a technique crank, because that's what we're going to want to apply to our weapon. So if we come down here, there's the Stargazer. And this is a good place to go ahead and rest. You're okay. We won't go back through that section we just did again. Now this part here is a closed loop, so we can go in here and just use all the pulse cells and puppet strings that we want, because when we're done, we're just going to warp back to the Stargazer. So this is a pool of corruption. Let me show you real quick what happens if you stand in it. So you see that my bar is purple, which means it is filling up. When it gets completely full, I'm going to get a debuff and be actually corrupted, and that means I'm going to start taking damage. So while it was building up, I wasn't taking any damage at all, but now that it's built up and the bar has changed from purple to that orange color, I am now, you can see my health is just ticking down. Now, in order to clear that, what you can do, and what I like to do is, there are 2 kinds of ampules for dealing with this stuff. You have an attribute resistance ampule. This will actually make the purple bar build up much more slowly, so you can stand in something longer. So that's what you want to use before you've had it applied. If you mess up and the debuff has been applied and you want to clear it, you want to use an attribute purification ampule. And the mnemonic I remember for this, I put it on my extra bag, and the way I remember this is pushing up is like resistance up to something. That's hilarious. Okay, so okay, so while the resistance is increased, right, it builds up slowly. So I like to bind that to up for resistance up, and then to clear it, I bind that to down. So in my head, it's like you're increasing resistance by pushing up, and you're clearing it by pushing down. So down makes it go away. That's hilarious that I didn't actually clear anything. Because of that, we get to farm some enemies a little bit again. This is what happens when you stop to lecture. You can see there's another one there. If you skirt the edges here, you won't actually get corrupted. You can see it's kind of safe out here at the edges. Definitely keeping that in the walkthrough because that was hilarious. So now I might end up stuck in here for a little while, so I'm going to pop a resistance ampule. And you can see that means that this will build up slower. Now there are a bunch of enemies that are around this guy that we'd like to clear out. There are 3 of them. because they're really annoying and they're going to hurl things at us. So we'd prefer getting them dead first. Although if we can get this guy without them, we might be okay anyway. There we go. See, they want to spit, so you can see them, they're going to do that. So the enemies will actually lose interest in you and kind of reset, which you can take advantage of. Oh, I've actually lost my puppet string. So we'll just... So you can see the corruption is building up. I'm going to pop another resistance. Now he's staggering him. As a reminder, this is just a simple little section with a small amount to do, so it's okay to just blow all your stuff. I'm going to use a Legion magazine just to give myself a couple more uses of puppet string, show how that works. So, see, I gained back a little bit of puppet string charge by using one Legion magazine. You can see my lamp is glowing, so there's going to be a butterfly somewhere close. You can see also that there's enemies up there that want to drop down. There's our butterfly. And see, this is what I mean by the butterfly wants to put you in bad situations. Because the idea is you're forced to chase the butterfly, and all of these guys are wanting to get you. Now notice I tried to use the puppet string, but because I was out of puppet string charge, or Legion charge, you end up stuck in an animation where you try to actually use the Legion charge, then can't, so that can actually be catastrophic if you do it at the wrong time. So now I'm going to use a Purification Ampule. I'm going to get really comfortable using especially the Purification Ampule, because in boss fights, there are situations where you're going to end up with a debuff on you and you want to be able to clear it extremely quickly. So you might want to practice that. It's one of the reasons I like binding it to the extra bag down and up, because I find it really easy to remember those particular bindings. All right, and that was the whole loop here. So we can now use our watch and just go back to the most recent Stargazer and keep going. So the way forward is to go up this way. And a Souls game wouldn't be a Souls game without a giant rolling ball, so we'll show you that. It comes rolling down this passageway, you can see it there. And it rolled over that poor puppet. So we can actually lure him out, and he should get smashed. So this is kind of fun, you can use this to your advantage. Get a good view of it here. So at this end of the hallway, I like to just kind of guard here. Now the ball will roll by again, and we'll go over here. Don't fall off. And then we'll wait, and we'll dash up. We're dashing up again. You can see there's a puppet there. He's coming for us. He should get smushed. Now when they're on the ground, your weapon won't actually hit him. But if we stay here, he should get smushed again. Oh, missed. Okay. Well, we'll kill him ourselves. Then we'll go up here. These can just be really annoying because you're forced to fight in these really close quarters. And you can see that one over there was getting taken out. because he was just smushed by the ball twice. So here we have a shortcut gate that lets us get back to this hallway. And just to show you that, there's also a shortcut here. And look down here, you can see a giant puppet boss that we're going to fight later. And this will give us a quick shortcut if we wanted to approach him from this direction. In general, this level has a ton of shortcuts and ways to move around, so you have a lot of different options. And from here, now that we've opened that shortcut gate, you see that we are already back at the Stargazer. So if, for example, you needed to rest up, get some charge back, get some flasks back, or sorry, pulse cells back, you could do that. So now I'm at 5 again. Takes no time at all. Don't be afraid to just recharge pulse cells if you need them. That way you're kind of always ready for any big enemies. So we'll go back and continue. This door will open later. And remember, there's a puppet here. We can lure him in here and take him out more easily. So we didn't really get much benefit because we ended up having to use a pulse cell anyway. But ergo is ergo, so we'll farm him. Alright, we're going to move up again. Now a puppet's going to come crashing out of here, so you can guard it like that if you're ready for it. But you had to know it was coming. Look at this, he wants to do a great big overhead smash on us. Now this way here, there's going to be a loop, sort of a section that we want to do over here. We're going to go this way eventually, and the Trinity Sanctum is that way, and also a lever that we can pull to flush that pool of poison underneath this giant boss here. So, because we don't want to actually be sitting in corruption fighting him, that's just a pain and forces you to waste ampules to clear your corruption. So instead we're going to pull a lever that'll clear that out and make it easy. But before we continue this way, we're going to go up here and finish out this hallway. You can see that there's one last puppet up there and a chest. Wait for the ball one more time. You're actually safe once you get up here from the ball. Then we can run back. Now what I like to do, we can go ahead and unlock this. If you go this way, if you pull this, that pipe over there will lower, and this actually creates a shortcut back to the entrance from the other side. If you remember when we first came into Venigni Works, we had the option to either go left or go up the stairs. So we went up the stairs, but if we'd gone left, it would have led to this section.
Oh, fantastic. The pipe fit like a glove.
There's also a little bit of loot over here.
That fit. Idioms, you know?
So you can see there's a big guy. You can get him staggered, and while you're doing a fatal attack, you're actually invulnerable. So that means that if other enemies are trying to hit you, they will not succeed. They'll be wailing on you, but you won't be taking any damage. So we're getting some stamina back. You can always back out. Just back away a little bit and get some stamina. So now just to show we're disconnected. Right back here is our entrance. And you can see this is the pipe. There's also a ladder down where we could fight that boss, that puppet boss, giant puppet boss, but we're not going to do that yet. That guy looks really intimidating and scary, but he's actually really easy. If you've played Elden Ring, he's like a furnace golem. He just takes forever to kill, but isn't very dangerous. So one thing I want to do is go unlock the next Stargazer, because this is a good home base for us to go back and do the other things. And to unlock that, you run over here.
A little help? Anyone? Wealthy and dashing philanthropist in need of assistance?
And it's actually completely okay to go ahead and rest here and recharge.
Oh, easy now. No need to kill me. Surely we can discuss this like reasonable people? Hold on. Geppetto's a friend of yours. Did he send you? I'm fine. Please, help me find my butler Pulcinella. He's a puppet and a friend. Those stalkers were supposed to be working for me, but... well, they bolted and left me to my fate. That was not helpful. My butler went to barricade the back door, and I haven't seen him since. Pulcinella has been a loyal companion. I'd hate to lose him. The factory is, of course, my priority. We must take it back. But please, keep an eye out for my butler. I'd consider it a personal favor and owe you in kind.
So we get the fear gesture.
Before all this chaos, Fuoco was the puppet in charge of the furnace.
Fuoco is the final boss of this area.
He was a stand-up fellow once. Now, not so much. I'm told he's still building an army of puppets and marching them on the cathedral. How did this nightmare come to be? Please, you must stop him before he does any more harm.
Alright, so you can see by resting there we're just fully replenished, which is great. That allows us to do the rest of this area. There's the puppet boss down below that we're going to take on. There's another boss in there that we're going to take on. And then this is the direction we need to go to pull the lever to get rid of all of the crap down there.
Admirers seem to follow me everywhere.
So these are actually characters from Pinocchio. This is the red fox and black cat. And in the original story, they were actually sort of con artists and swindlers and shady characters. You'll find they are the same in this.
Are you carrying the latest edition of Venigni's Landmark Guide? It's the most popular non-fiction work in Kratz these days. Maduro wrote the actual guide, but Venigni published and financed it. It goes for a premium at the shop, but Maduro might not get his cut. He went missing recently, which of course made that volume more popular than ever. If you can get all 3 volumes collectors want, bet you can get 4. No, 5,000 for it at the shop. But you're in luck. I have a conscience and...
So remember, we actually have Venigni's Landmark Guide 1 and 2. So he's claiming if we can get 3, we would, all 3 we'd be able to sell. But he's just conning us. If you look, this guide is suspicious. It's ripped. So you sometimes see this in Souls games where rip-off items are sold to try to trick you. We'll fall for it just because it's funny to read. You're reading a forbidden book, you're a bad person. The end. Have you talked to him again?
Have you had time to read it? It's the first volume I wrote, so go easy. By the way, I need to mention something before it slips my mind. It's a shame that the original author went missing, but I fear you misunderstood this commitment. I am willing to sell my newest book for 500. No refunds, of course. That's a given.
So he ripped us off.
Pleased to see you, my stalker friend.
You made it all the way here unbothered by ruffians. You've got talent. I've never seen you before, but who cares?
This may well benefit our former client. Did you catch that subtle whiff of money in the air? Moneybags himself, Lorenzini Venigni, is inside this factory this very moment.
You caught us on our return trip. We had to deny his ridiculous request in person just to be sure it wasn't a joke. All we could do was laugh.
Keep your whiskers up if you're heading in there. He is the richest man in Krat. Or so they say. Who knows? Maybe he's handing out bags of money to lift his spirits.
Ha! That seems unlikely. No way are we doing that.
Well, anyhow, best of luck.
So these are the stalkers that Venigni was talking about that abandoned him. So as we've established, they don't have any real principles. But they're charming in their own way, despite being shady characters. Alright, and here we have a single puppet to kill. Now that gate is blocked, so we can't open it yet. So we're gonna go this way. There's some stuff to do down here. Now over here we have our first Trinity Sanctum, and this is opened using the Trinity key that we got from answering that riddle that, remember when the phone was ringing and we answered Arlecchino's riddle? He gave us a Trinity key. It's a little dark in here. Let's turn on our lamp. So it seems like somebody not quite in their right mind is doing this scribbling and drawing. So notice we get a quartz out of this, and a pretty cool costume. I'm going to stick with what I'm wearing, but it is a pretty good costume. And here we have a shortcut that goes back down to where we fought the shield puppet, or there's the ledge that we fell, or we're standing there throwing cells at him. Alright, and that area is cleared, and now we're going to go deal with a furnace puppet who is blocking the way to the lever we need to pull to drain the stuff down below. Now with these, they're going to lunge at you, so they're also very vulnerable to just being hit with an R2. As long as you're far enough away, that lunge they do will miss. And also notice the one that's crawling. So you can actually kind of hit it and then let it do its leap, and then it'll miss. And when we go across here, you can see there are more coming. So we're just going to back up, let them drop, and do the same thing we just did to deal with those first two. Whoops. So again, if they'll do a leap. Oh, he really wants to get me. He's trying hard, but he's got no legs. Alright, now we can go this way. And when we go straight ahead there, the awful furnace puppet's going to come busting out and we're going to have to fight him. But instead, we're going to go get these guys. So those, as long as you do 3 light attacks with this Crescent Glaive, they won't get a chance to act. And pull them with the puppet string first. Now this is a puppet. We've still got 3 blitzes. If you wanted to, you could use a blitz on this guy. If you did purchase them like I did. Got a perfect guard this. And we can hit him with a Fable Art. When he puts his blade down like that, he's going to make a puddle, and his attacks are going to cause fire damage if he connects. And that's what it looks like if he hits you. When he does this one, just get away. He'll wear himself out. Last one needs to be perfectly guarded. I find it easier to just run away from that. That one, though, is pretty easy to punish. So now you can see he's about to get staggered. We can finish him off. Oh, or not. Wow. A lot of health. So that will get us the Swordsmanship Master's Amulet. And that reduces durability loss on your weapon. It'll go down more slowly. So remember, right now we're wearing a life amulet and a puppet amulet. So if you're ever not fighting puppets, we could take the puppet amulet off and put the other one on. So here's the lever to pull to drain the swampy area where the huge puppet boss is. And then this is the shortcut gate. They'll take us back, and we're completely done now except for the puppet boss. We'll go over this way. And actually, since we have a lot of stuff here, let's go back to the hotel. A lot of ergo accumulated. So in case we, I'm incompetent when fighting these bosses. One thing to notice is how Sophia can kind of move around. So she's gone to the top of the stairs here.
I'll use my power to help you.
So we'll take our technique up to 14. Then we'll take figure to 13, and then we'll start doing capacity. Oh, we have a lot here. We might actually have enough to gain another level if we spend these.
I'll use my power to help you.
So we'll raise our vitality. And now we're out. So next thing we're going to do is get our technique up. So we'll go back to the control room. That's a great home base to get to the rest of what we want to do here. And remember, we also do have quartz that we're going to spend, which we'll do that in a minute, because we're going to get even more quartz from taking down that guy down below. So we can fall down here. And to get to this guy, we just run across the pipe and go down the ladder here. Let's see. That's an easy way to get to him from this particular Stargazer. And now we can fight him without anything in the way. Now this guy's big and slow moving. The thing to watch out for is if he hits you by stomping on you with his legs, you will be afflicted with a shock debuff, and that actually causes your stamina to regenerate more slowly. So you want to be very conservative and always make sure you have enough stamina to run away or roll away from his legs. He also has a move where he'll spin these balls around, and when he does that, as long as you're standing under him, you're fine. So you can see I'm just totally safe here. But you want to watch out for if he lifts the leg, and especially that one. And I tend to be very conservative here because I don't want to get afflicted with shock. And because he can kind of lift these rapidly, you don't want to be caught in a weapon animation. So you can see I'm kind of just doing R1 here. I'll risk an R2. Got a stagger. You can stagger him from the front here. And then we'll hit him with a Fable Art. I'll risk this. He might raise another leg. See how you can be kind of close. Just want to be very cautious. He's very easy as long as you're cautious. But he's, you know, you can see he's kind of like the furnace golem and that he takes a long time. If you've ever played Elden Ring's DLC, it's just kind of annoying. These are just kind of annoying and stupid enemies. Now I'm gonna get some stamina back. So you can see they're not really particular, because so there I finally got hits. Now you can see that I have a little bit of shock. And shock is a special status effect, which means that you actually need a different ampule to clear it. There's special purification ampules. So you can see he's really close to being dead. Oh, so now we want to heal. We're just getting some stamina back. And that's it. So see, not too difficult. Just more annoying than anything else. But here, we are going to get the weapon that we're going to be using for this playthrough, or at least the handle. So the booster glaive blade, this is a fantastic technique weapon. Let me equip it and show it to you. So it has a moveset that should feel kind of familiar because we've been using the crescent glaive, but it also has an R2 that closes distance really well. So it kind of has a similar behavior to that glaive. But we're going to actually take this handle and put a weapon head on it that does even more Fable Art damage. We're going to put the big pipe wrench head on it, because that has a Fable Art called Patient Smash that just does a ton of damage for 3 Fable slots. Oh, actually, I can save myself a little bit of time just using the watch. Go back to the Venigni control room. And now we're going to fight another mini-boss. Let's see if I'm going to put back on my Crescent Glaive. Oh, actually, is the Booster Glaive a little better? I know we haven't upgraded. Yeah, it actually is slightly better, so we'll just stick with the Booster Glaive. One thing to not mix up here is the Fable Art of the Booster Glaive that we want to use is actually triangle, not L1 plus triangle. So if you do switch to it, just keep that in mind. You're gonna slap a different button to do your big bonk damage. So if we go through this door and up here, there's something to read. So I'll grab it real quick. This is talking about someone who fell in love with a puppet named Mr. J. We will actually meet him later on in the game. Now some puppets are going to fall if we go here, this direction. Just to show this. No, it didn't connect because doorway here. So that's really great, right? Staggers them. Boom! Hits really hard. Now we can grab this. There's something to get up here. Alright, now we'll do my best to not die to this guy.
I must atone for my sins.
This is a really, really
Must
annoying
kill
fight
more puppets.
because you have to fight him in this really constrained little space. So if we talk to him...
You can't fool me! All puppets must die. Kill the puppets!
He is very, very vulnerable to the booster glaive, though.
I can't
Like,
tell
if you
what's
see
blood
that,
and what's oil.
you can kind of just back away and then hit him with it. And here's the art of it. So you can see that works really well. Now, if you can get behind him, it's very similar, but the space can make it hard. But he does work, you know, like Mad Donkey.
I can't tell what's blood and what's oil.
But you have all sorts of stuff in the way, like this table. But if you see, you can really, really abuse Booster Glaive. I can just kind of back away, and he's not expecting me to leap in. I can just kind of back away, get stamina back, and then do it again. See how effective that is? And I already got my Fable art back. Although I put myself in danger. That's something you want to be careful about with Fable arts. So you can see the strafing left is pretty effective against him. If I could get behind him.
I can't tell what's blood and what's oil.
And we stagger him again. Now you can actually hit humans from behind as well as from up front. So that, you can see we did that. And from here we get Gesture, the Stalker's Promise, as well as his outfit. That Stalker's Promise is actually a greeting that lets us pretend that we're a stalker. So since this is a lies playthrough, we're going to actually be able to take advantage of that, to lie to someone and pretend we're a stalker later. And I'll point that out when we get there. So we can now just... Oh, just something to point out, the door that we couldn't get through before is how we exit from this room once we fought him. So here we're back in that hallway with the stuff. And now we'll use the watch to just go back to Venigni's control room. Now, in terms of upgrading a weapon with the Moonstones, what you actually upgrade is the blade, not the handle. And since we're wanting to put a different blade on this weapon, we're not going to upgrade it yet. So the next bit to do is there's some stuff up top we can get. So I'll show all this. We can come over here. See how fun that charge move is? And you really could just play the game all the way through with the Booster Glaive alone. It's really up to you. You can put all sorts of things on this. You can leave it with the default blade is just fine. So you can see there are guys throwing things at us from down below. So this jump can be a little tricky. You roll at the end of a jump, so you want to give yourself room so that you don't roll off by accident. And over here, I think we have a technique crank, if I remember. Or maybe we got it already. There's a technique crank up here. Let's see if we actually got it and I just didn't notice. Yeah, we did. So notice we now have a technique crank to improve scaling. And that applies to the handle. So if we want to use the Booster Glaive, even though we're going to change the blade later, we could go ahead and improve the scaling of the handle if we wanted to. So now that we're done here, we could actually drop down. can hear a lot of clomping here. There's one of those bad furnace puppets is down here. But we want to kind of take out the guys that are throwing things that are around him, so that we're not dealing with both at the same time. We can see there we got hit. So that guy's throwing things up. Oh no. That is not good. Let's get him dead. We'll get over here, take out the thrower. And then let's fight this guy somewhere else. Let's get down here. Alright, so here he comes. So if you missed that, that's real bad, so you can see it really hurts. Now this is the attack where he just kind of wears himself out, just back away, and then he'll do the perfect guard one, and then we can just hit him with a... Right. And now he's going to do his overheat thing. Remember, he makes a pool, and now his attacks are going to have overheat. And that's the one that you don't want to get hit by. Okay, now he's doing the awful thing you want to get away from. And then you can hit him with a charge. Here again, I'm just messing up the perfect guard on that. But now he's doing the one to get away from. And now we can R2 him again. I'm just really not playing this well. You can also just back away from it and then hit him. So now we've staggered him. You can see he's got a ton of health too. We mess that up again. And once he's dead, you get a converter and more upgrade material for the weapon. In hindsight, maybe I should have gone back to the hotel and upgraded the handle a little bit. Would have made the fight shorter. So we can equip that new converter that we got. So now it's time to go back to the hotel, level up, and we will upgrade this weapon a little too. We have cleared everything out now. So yeah, either of these weapons, the Crescent Glaive or the Booster Glaive, you could just play with this weapon all the way through. It's a great weapon. I have played through with the Booster Glaive by default a few times, and so I'm just going to put a different blade on it, mainly to mix things up, just so that I'm doing something different. But you could feel free to just play with this weapon and upgrade it.
I know my way around a weapon.
Now remember, we can't, because I'm going to put a different blade on, all I'm actually doing right now is altering the handle. But that will actually improve its damage a little bit. So you can see it'll go from B to A. It costs a little bit of ergo to do that. And now it'll have A scaling even if I attach a different blade to it. So remember that we've gotten some quartz. So let's go take care of that, and then we'll level up and fill up our Fable slots. The cat here, if you pet him, the less human you are, the more he'll react badly. But as we play more records, tell more lies, his reactions will change. So over time, we'll interact with him, and I'll show you that. So what I'm going to do, we have exactly 2 quartz, so I would really like to have another pulse cell. So that's what I'm going to go for next. Both Fatal Attack and Staggered Duration are great. I'm going to do Fatal Attack. So, again, Guard Regain Recovery is alright, but we actually have Enhanced Pulse Cell Recovery that we've unlocked here, and So we're kind of assuming if you're newer to these games that you're going to be taking a lot of damage. So we're going to err on the side of making our pulse souls just as powerful as they can be. So that's how we're going to prepare for this next major boss.
I'll use my power to help you.
So we're going to take our technique up to 16. Let's see what we have left. Still got plenty. Okay. So now we took everything to 16. We're going to take vigor to 14, and then we're going to work on capacity. Refill our favorite slots. And then what I think I'll do with Fuoco is show you the fight with the Spectre, so that people who are playing Spectres can get a feel for what that looks like. And then I will show you a clean kill without a Spectre. I think what I'll probably do is break it up so that the next video I make starts with a Spectreless kill of Fuoco. That way, if I play it incompetently and die or mess up or just don't do very well, I can restart it so that what I can show you in the walkthrough is a clean kill. Because I feel like clean kills are important to see because they show you exactly how you were supposed to respond to the boss's moveset. So that's probably what I'll do first. So we'll try this with a Spectre, just so you can see his moves a little bit, and then I will end this video and we'll start a new one where we take him on. Now you can see the run back, you can just kind of run along the top and then fall down. Alright, so we'll pull a Spectre out so you can see that. You can see it consumes a star fragment, which are a limited resource. Now you can see the cutscene of him being introduced. So there's our Spectre buddy with his sword. He may come at us first. If he does this, just back away. This one you want to run out of the way, but then get close, and then you can hit him with a charged attack right after. So watch the move he does here. He's going to go up. This is a spin. It'll be 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. So that's how you perfect guard that move. And that one's just an overhead smash with the hammer. You can see the Spectre is kind of getting wrecked, so there's an expectation that you do some damage. This will be 1. Oh, for some reason he stopped it. Here, I want to get him to where we can actually see phase 2, so let me hit him some. So this move he's doing now, he's going to overheat the room. You want to get behind a pillar. Your Spectre's going to be too dumb to do that, so he'll die. So you're kind of expected to do phase 2 on your own. You can see when he runs like that, you have an opportunity to get up to him. And that would be the slam that you would need to perfect guard. If you stay at range, he'll do this really annoying thing where he shoots at you. Let me see if I can get him to do that, because I want you to see that. Normally he prefers to do that from range, which is why you want to close with him. There it is. So here you can get behind him when he does the flamethrower. This is the awful move, where he shoots things. And he'll do that forever if you don't, like, get in and actually chase him. Now he's doing the overheat move. So this is why you want to close with him. You don't just want to let him sit here and keep doing that. That's the spin move. Here it is. 1, 2, 3. Alright, and now that's enough to have shown you. Now we'll give you a clean kill. And I will spare you having to watch me go back to the hotel and refill my Fable slots and collect my Ergo. So in the next video, we'll show you a clean kill of Fuoco without a Spectre, and then we will go back to the hotel and move on to the next area, which will be getting to the cathedral. See you then.